All right, let's get right into it. We're going to do something a little different today, kind of a psychological autopsy on an idea that we all just accept. The idea that we are in control. And the whole reason we're doing this is because this entire explainer is built on one single kind of destabilizing premise. And that is, what if your sense of freedom is actually the most sophisticated illusion there is?
So, let me ask you something, and I want you to be really honest with yourself. Have you ever made a truly free decision? I made a choice that was 100% yours, not influenced by what your parents expected or what society says is normal, or even by fear.
Or here's the flip side. Did the decision actually make you? You know, what if the path you thought you were choosing was already paved, long before you even got there, and your big decision was just taking the first step on it?
Now look, this isn't about some shadowy conspiracy theory. No. It's about something way more powerful than that. It's this hidden architecture, a system of stories that, whether we realize it or not, governs our lives. It dictates how we act, what we want, even who we think we are. And in the book Sapiens, which is a huge inspiration for this, they have a specific name for this.
Okay, so this is the key. A collective myth isn't really a lie. Not exactly. It's more like a fiction that works. It's a story that a huge group of us, as humans, just agree to believe in. And the crazy part is, by all of us agreeing to it, we make it real. It actually controls our reality. Let me give you some of the biggest examples.
I mean, just think about money for a second. That piece of paper in your wallet or those numbers on a screen, they have zero objective value. None. It's just a story about trust and value that we've all agreed to believe in. And yet, this story dictates almost everything, where you live, what you eat, how you spend most of your time on this planet. Or how about nations? These are literally just imaginary lines drawn on a map. We have a flag, a song we all know. These are just stories. But man, are they powerful stories. They create this incredible sense of us. People will literally live and die for these stories, but you can't touch them. They don't exist anywhere except in our collective minds.
Okay, and this is where it gets really personal for a lot of us. Careers. The whole idea of a career, that straight line of getting a job, getting promoted, gaining status, that is just another story. But it's a huge one. It's a myth that completely shapes our education, our relationships, and maybe most importantly, how we decide if we're worth something. So think about it this way. If these big myths are the architecture of the building we live in, then our lives, well, they're the scripts. They're pre-written scripts for a play that takes place inside that building. We're all handed this blueprint for what a good life or a normal life is supposed to be.
And you know this path, right? It probably sounds super familiar. It's like the default setting for success. Step 1, get an education. Step 2, find a career. Step 3, acquire some status. Step 4, measure your worth by the stuff you have. We just follow these steps. It's almost automatic, like we're on autopilot.
And that right there? That's the core of the trap. The story we tell ourselves about what success even means. We probably didn't write it, we inherited it. So we end up running this race, chasing a version of success someone else handed to us, and we never even stop to ask ourselves, wait a minute, is this even what I want? Do I even believe in this story?
So the big question is, why? Why do we go along with it so easily? Why don't we just, walk off the stage and do something else? Well, the answer isn't some external force holding us back. The prison guards, they're inside our own heads. At our core, we're social animals. We are hardwired with this primal fear of being kicked out of the tribe. So, following the script, it feels safe. It gives us a community, an identity, and honestly, it protects us from something that's absolutely terrifying. The chaos of true freedom, of having to stare at a blank page and write your own story from scratch.
And this is where that feeling of dissonance kicks in. Because on one hand, you have these comforting lies we tell ourselves just to get through the day. But on the other hand, there's this nagging, uncomfortable truth just under the surface. We tell ourselves, my choices are my own. But the truth is, they're so deeply shaped by all these stories we were just born into.
So, as we're talking about all this, as we're pulling back these layers, it's totally natural if you start to feel a little uneasy, maybe even a bit alienated. Realizing you might be an actor in a play you don't even remember auditioning for, yeah, that can be a pretty jarring feeling.
But here is the most important part. That feeling, it doesn't mean you're broken. It's the exact opposite. It's a sign that you're starting to see. You're beginning to see the architecture for what it really is.
So that discomfort,
That's not a bug, it's a feature. It's not failure, it's the price of admission. It's the ticket to seeing things more clearly, to a more authentic reality. Think of it like a growing pain, the growing pain of waking up.
Okay, so what do we do with all this? If we can't just pack our bags and leave this architecture, then how do we find any real freedom? Well, this is where we shift our perspective. It's about moving from being an unconscious actor to a conscious observer.
Look, let's be realistic. You can't just decide to opt out of money. You can't just leave society behind. These stories are way too powerful. But real freedom, true freedom, it begins the second you recognize that the story is just that, a story.
And that awareness, that's your superpower. Suddenly you start seeing the scripts playing out all around you, not just in your life, but everywhere. You can actually pause and question that automatic yes when a promotion comes up or when you feel the urge to buy something. You can choose to play the career game, but on your own terms. You're no longer just the actor, you're also watching your own performance. And really, that's the big takeaway here. Just seeing the system doesn't mean you've instantly escaped it. It's not a magic trick. But what it does give you is perspective. And once you have that perspective, a whole new world of choices starts to open up.
So think about it. The old script, that was written for you, by culture, by history, by society. But a new script, well, once you realize you're the one on stage, performing, you also realize you're the one holding the pen. You can start making your own edits.